Well, GSL was certainly a lot of fun.
Well, it gets me full of inspiration just seeing what these guys can do.
Well, I noticed that you took a lot of inspiration. I've been really wishing I could get onto some model cars, but I'm up to my behind in model railroads.
Right.
But you've been building a lot of cars.
Oh, I've been building model cars probably since I was about 11 or 12 years old.
And these cars here in the contest were just so amazing.
Well, they are. I've never had really good success building a model in past times, but these guys give me inspiration that it can be done.
Well, I think one of the fun things is it gives you a chance to sort of dream about your dream cars from when you were in high school.
Right.
If you can't have the actual car, you can build a model of it.
Yes, and my love for my favorite car occurred when I was still in elementary school, unfortunately.
Fortunately for me, at one point in time, I was actually able to buy my dream car.
Well, yes, there it is.
In 1980, these things weren't worth much, so I gobbled one up. Of course, quite often you're not able to buy your dream car, but you can still build a model of it.
Well, that's right. By the time you're old enough to afford it, it's no longer around. It's in a junkyard somewhere.
Or it's worth $500,000 or something.
Like this car here. This is a 1968 Chevelle Super Sport. And I had my eye on this car because I had a teacher that she had a car just like this. And I used to go down to her house just to visit her car. And I even went so far to try to talk my parents into buying one because they would have been brand new right then. Of course, that never happened, and I've never lost my love for this car. So one day when I was on eBay, I happened to come across a model. And being highly inspired by the GSL, why not start building one?
Well, and the Revell kits are always first class.
Oh, they are. They're wonderful.
And they're quite often reissues from kits that were made back in the 1960s, but fortunately, the Revell ones are always a good reproduction. Not a reproduction, just a redo of the original model.
Right. Now, of course, the Chevelle is painted red on the box, but I had another reason for painting it red. I wanted it to look just like my teacher's car, painted exactly like hers. And, of course, the iconic Felix Chevrolet license plate frames and all of that, like it was sitting on the lot at Felix Chevrolet brand new.
And I love the red line tires.
Oh, aren't they neat? They were just the bomb. Now, because the whole model came in just a white color, everything needed to be painted. And I felt it was much easier to paint things while they were still on the trees, rather than try to paint it once it was disconnected from the tree. When right here with the transmission, I decided to use a chrome pen to make it look just as shiny as possible. Now, I've been buying these chrome pens on Amazon. One of the things I found when I was a young person, a kid if you will, building model cars and trying to find something that looked like chrome was just almost impossible. It always looks silver. But these chrome pens just really do a fine job. That the paint actually comes out looking like chrome.
And I'm going to put a link in the description to these chrome pens on Amazon.
Right. Now, I wanted the seats to be black in color, but I wanted them to look like the center part was some kind of a different type of leather. So I painted it originally gloss black and then just went in with a flat black for the seat part. Now, of course, I like a lot of detail in the engine compartment, and I always add plug wires. And in this case, too, to the battery, I've got battery terminals and the heater hoses.
I love the heater hoses.
Yes, they were added on extra. They didn't come with the kit. And right here, I've got a master cylinder. Actually, they came with the master cylinder. It just didn't have the detail. So I added the brake lines and the clips that hold it together. And I've even added a dipstick if you look close.
I love your battery terminals. How do you do those?
Well, I just use wire. I find red wire and black wire and just sand the insulation off a little bit till the copper shows, and then just affix it to the battery. And here we have the interior that I began working on. I wanted the carpet to look as much like carpet as possible, so that wasn't painted gloss. And it did come with some decals for the instrumentation on the dashboard, which, boy, I mean, you're dealing tiny putting it all together. Now, once all this is put together and you've got your paint and everything satisfactory, you've got to assemble all of this into one unit and then hope like crazy that the body of the car will snap over all of this. Now here's the part I've never had tremendously good luck in, but because the car was all white plastic, I wanted it red. I had to paint it red and then just let it dry for almost a week, because if you even touch it, you'll get a fingerprint right in the middle of your paint job. So this dried and seasoned for over a week before I even dared to touch it. Now, one of the other things that I did was just using a soft microfiber cloth, I polished the paint to make it shine just as much as possible. And another thing that's really hard to do is put the window glass in the car. 9 times out of 10, I'll either leave a glue streak or a big old fingerprint on it. So I had to be extra careful this time to make sure that didn't happen. And next came the decals, and this was really tricky to put those on because not only are they small, it's hard to go up around all of the curves on the car and make it turn out straight and nice. And because these cars had quite a bit of chrome on them, I used the chrome pen one more time to put in the trim pieces on the car. And now comes the real scary part. Will this body snap over that frame? Because the car is curved, it is very hard to do.
Well, it looks like it worked just fine. I feel like we're looking at a real Chevy.
Right, and I can breathe now.
Well, it looks like you're down to the final bits of assembly.
Well, everything has to look real on this car, so I even went so far as to take a Dremel and drill out the chrome tips on the tailpipes. Where the license plate goes and it says Felix Chevrolet, I was able to go on the internet and print off their card, that insert as they call it, that goes into the plate frames for the dealership.
Well, you love Felix Chevrolet.
I sure do. That Felix the cat, the dealership by the Harbor Freeway in Los Angeles, California. So I attached the hood. It even has the hood supports and everything, and I just used a little piece of wire as the hood prop to hold the hood open. It's one of those situations you don't know whether to model the car with the hood closed or the hood open after you've done all that work.
And having your finger in the shot like this shows just how small this model really is.
Yeah, it's only about 8 inches long.
It's really fun once the model is finished to peer into the engine compartment, look through the windows. It's almost like being in the presence of the real car.
Well, that's what I was hoping for, because boy, some of this stuff brings back so many memories, and it's just fun to relive that.
Yeah, it gives you a chance to actually have that car that you wanted when you were young and dress it out exactly the way you would have dressed it out when you were a teenager.
Exactly.
Well, I sure love that you're building model cars. I, at some point, would like to build a model car again.
Well, I can thank the GSL for getting me inspired, because when I was young, I didn't have much luck.
Well, and if you want to follow along on our various builds and Karyn's cars, you want to be a subscriber to the channel. And the easy way to do that is by pressing on the upcoming blue button. Zoink! Right there. Well, we're not sure how you found this video on the internet. We hope you didn't find it boring, and we will see you here on Sunday. Bye-bye.